Dear young brothers and sisters of the new generation of Hindustan, as I have mentioned in the introductory episode of this series, today we start our journey and our exploration to understand the true history and the true story of our great nation Hindustan. So join me, let us start. So here I have reported a slogan from the poems of our ancient poet Rahim Das. So what does Rahim Das say? He says, Egai Sathai Sabsathai Sabsathai Sabijai Rahimana Mulhi Sinchibo Fulhi Falahi Adhai. It means irrigate the roots to make the entire tree blossom fully and carry fruits. In turn, it can be translated that if a nation shall flourish and progress prestigiously, its true history and heritage shall be taught to its young and new generation. Why? Because the young and new generation forms the real root of a nation. So they should understand the true history and their heritage. And this is what the central governments which came into existence in our nation since 1947 had not conducted, not performed, not done until the last few years. And the consequence is that majority of the generations which came into existence since 1940 had no idea about the true history of our great nation. So practically they lost their identity and they can't even remember what was their noble origin. So this is the importance to understand the true history, because it was not included in the scholastic syllabus and no one was instructed or no one was taught what was the true history of Hindustan. This is a very important point. So here is an affirmation by Marcus Tullius Cicero, who was a philosopher, a Roman philosopher of the 1st century AD. And according to him, to be ignorant of what occurred before you were born is to remain always a child. Just think about this affirmation. And he asks a question, for what is worth human life unless it is woven into the life of our ancestors by the records of history? And if the history was not taught to you, you cannot understand how was the life of our ancestors and what was the history of our nation. So this was intentionally hidden. Therefore, the scope of the information shared in these episodes is to let the young and new generations of Hindustan know what occurred in this nation before they were born, to let them identify the nobility of their origin and thereby to protect them from being infected by the inferiority complex induced indirectly in the mind of majority of the previous generations by those who invaded and destroyed this great nation and those central governments which directly or indirectly associated with the remnants of those invaders. Please keep in mind this fact. And these episodes addressed to the new generation of Hindustan are dedicated in the memory of those unknown innocent citizens of the glorious Indian Empire, Hindustan, who were ferociously killed, brutally enslaved, and cruelly converted to Islam by the chosen people of Allah, who invaded and looted this land and settled here in this Hindustan for more than 600 years. And again, in the memory of those who were deprived of everything, intentionally starved to agony and slow death, as well as those who were brutally and cruelly tortured and killed brutally in Goa for conversion to Christianity by the chosen people of Jehovah who came to Hindustan disguised as distinguished traders. And here I have presented an emblem or a logo of Hindustan. a representation of Bharat Mata. Try to keep this image in your mind until your last breath. Okay? So let us see, what does it mean, Hindustan? It is clearly defined here in this sloga. It says, Himalayam samarabhya yavad Indu sarovaram tam devanarmidam desham Hindustanam prachakshade. Once again, let us read together. Himalayam samarabhya yavad Indu sarovaram tam devanarmidam desham Hindustanam prachakshade. What does it mean? The land which extends from Himalayas to Hindu Sarovaram, that is Indian Ocean, created by God, is known as Hindustan. The northern boundary of ancient Hindustan extends from Himalayan ranges, including Hindu Kush mountains on the western side. On the eastern side, the ranges extends up to North Myanmar, that is Brahmadesh, that was the old name of Myanmar. This land extends up to Indian Ocean on the southern side. So that is Hindustan. All those geographical regions are part of Hindustan. So here is an official map of AD 1600. And this is the map of Indian Empire or Hindustan. Gandharam or Afghanistan, which was part of Hindustan, which was dissociated earlier. Anyway, all these areas marked in red color, including Sri Lanka, Myanmar, all these areas, they totally belong to Hindustan. And now we try to understand who is a Hindu. This is a very important point that at least you members of the young generation should understand. It's very important. Because now there are discussions, I am a Muslim, I am a Christian, I am this and that. But once you understand the meaning of this slogan, everybody will understand that he or she is a Hindu. Asindho Sindhu Pariyandam Yasya Bharata Bhumika Tam Madruhu Pidruhu Chaiva Savai Hindu Vidhi Samrdaha. And Narada Maharshi, he further explains not only Madruhu, Pitruhu, Punyafu, Jnanafu, Yajnafu, Karmafu, Chaiva, Sabai, Hindu, Vidhi, Samraha. Translating into English, it says, whoever is born and lives in Hindustan and considers this land as his motherland, land of his ancestors, land of his virtues, land of wisdom, land of perseverance, and land of his action. And he is known as Hindu, or she is known as a Hindu. So this is the definition of a Hindu. So by force, all those people who are converted to Islam, initially by force and then followed due to situations, and those who believe them as Christians, and they also were initially converted forcefully to Christianity, and they continue to live as Christians, but all of those people are Hindus. Once you understand the real and true meaning of this slogan, which was written before the introduction of Islam or Christianity to Hindustan. In the next episode, let us see what is Hindu Dharma. So, thank you for paying attention to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it and understood it, and understood the real intention of this exploration and this study. Please share it with relatives and friends of new generation. So thank you very much. See you in the next episode. Jai Hind.